There's a video going around right now claiming you can reset your entire car's computer in 2 minutes flat. Brake pedal, gas pedal, a disconnected battery cable, 10 steps, 0 tools, and supposedly workshops hate it. So I did the thing apparently nobody making that video did. I pulled real service procedures. I checked what actual diagnostic techs say about it. And here's the uncomfortable part. About half that checklist is either wildly exaggerated or completely made up. Some of it, if you follow it blindly, can waste your afternoon and your radio's anti-theft code at the same time. But one piece of it is real. It works. Mechanics genuinely use a version of it. Stick around, because by the end of this, you'll know exactly which part to trust, which parts are wasting your time, and the one true reason this trend actually annoys people at the shop. It's not the reason you think. Welcome back to Automastery. We don't just repeat whatever's trending, we check it against how these systems are actually built. Today, we're taking that viral 2-minute reset checklist apart, step by step, so you know exactly what you're doing before you touch that battery cable. Segment 1. Why this is everywhere right now. Here's why a trick like this spreads so fast. The average car on American roads is now over 12 years old, the oldest the fleet has ever been. Annual repair and maintenance costs are pushing toward $1,000 a year, and more than a quarter of drivers say they've delayed a repair purely because of cost. So, when a video promises a free fix using nothing but your own 2 feet and a wrench, of course it spreads. Add in the fact that dealership service departments now pull in something close to half their total profit from a sliver of their overall business, and skip the shop content starts to make a lot of sense as a genre. Doesn't mean it's all true, though. Let's find out how much of it actually is. Segment 2. The one piece that's actually real. Let's start with the part of this checklist that isn't nonsense, because you need to understand it before anything else makes sense. The claim, disconnect the negative battery cable, hold the brake pedal down for 20 seconds, and you've wiped corrupted ECU memory. Here's what's actually happening. Your engine computer keeps a running list of values it's learned over time. Idle speed, fuel trims, transmission shift points. It's stored in what's called keep-alive memory, and it needs constant power to hold on to that data. Cut the power and that learned data genuinely disappears. If your car's been idling rough or shifting strangely because of outdated learned values, this can actually help. But corrupted is the wrong word. Nothing was broken. It just relearns from a blank slate. And 20 seconds isn't close to enough. The capacitors holding that residual charge typically need 15 minutes to a full hour to drain completely, depending on the vehicle. Do it for 20 seconds and you've mostly just annoyed your radio into demanding a code you probably don't have written down anywhere. And no, leaving the hood propped open afterward doesn't add anything. That affects temperature, not electricity. 2 completely different things pretending to be one trick. Here's the version that actually works. Give it the full hour if you can, and go in knowing it won't fix a genuinely broken sensor or a bad connection. It only clears what the computer learned, not what's actually wrong. That's the one real trick on this list. Everything else gets shakier from here, starting with the pedal flooring one. One more limit worth knowing before we move on. None of this touches a hybrid or EV's high-voltage battery pack. Disconnecting the 12-volt accessory battery only resets the same low-voltage systems it would on a gas car. Idle, fuel trims, infotainment. The traction battery and its control software sit behind a service disconnect your owner's manual actively warns you away from for good reason. And with hybrids now outselling EVs by a wide margin in the US as fuel prices stay stubborn, more drivers than ever have one of these systems under the hood, so it's worth knowing exactly where this trick's authority quietly runs out. Quick thing before we go further. If this just saved you from disconnecting your battery for 20 seconds and wondering why nothing happened, tap that like. It tells YouTube to put this in front of the next person about to try step 4. Segment 3. The calibration myths. Next claim, turn the key to on, don't start the engine, floor the accelerator for 10 seconds, and you've calibrated your throttle's 0 and 100% limits. Here's the twist. There is a real procedure like this. It's called a throttle relearn, and some manufacturers genuinely use pedal presses and key cycles to teach the computer where the throttle plate's physical limits sit. The problem is which manufacturer, which steps, and for how long, that's completely different car to car. One procedure I found for certain Nissan models uses a pedal tap repeated 5 times in 5 seconds. A separate Toyota procedure strings together holds of 40, then 35, then 30 seconds in a specific order. A generic hold it for 10 seconds that ignores your actual make and model isn't calibrating anything, it's just flooring your gas pedal in your driveway. And this only matters in specific situations anyway, mainly after a battery disconnect or a throttle body cleaning leaves the idle rough. It's not a performance upgrade for a car that's already running fine. Same story with cycle the key on for 3 seconds, off for 3 seconds, 3 times to hard reset your modules. That pattern resembles real manufacturer relearn sequences, but run it on a random car with no actual fault and it does exactly nothing. Not harmful, just pointless. And this connects to something that genuinely surprised me while I was digging through this: the permanent code nobody mentions. You'd assume that disconnecting the battery erases every fault code your car has stored. For most warning light codes, that's true. But cars sold in the US since roughly 2010 have been required to store certain emissions-related codes in a special kind of memory that does not erase when you cut the power. They're literally called permanent codes. Why would a manufacturer build that in on purpose? Because for years, people were disconnecting batteries specifically to erase codes and sneak a broken car through an emissions test. Regulators closed the loophole. So on a huge share of modern vehicles, that wipe the ECU trick can't touch the exact kind of problem people are usually trying to hide from it. Your car was quietly built to outsmart this trend before it existed. Segment 4. The steering wheel myth. This next one worries me more than the others because it touches a safety system. The claim, turn your steering wheel fully left for 3 seconds, then fully right for 3 seconds, repeat 5 times with the key on, and you've recalibrated your steering angle sensor. Here's the truth. Steering angle sensors are real and they matter more now than ever because they feed your stability control, your lane keep assist, sometimes even your blind spot monitoring. More than 98 million vehicles on U.S. roads now carry at least one driver assist feature built on sensors like this. That's roughly 4 out of every 4 cars out there. This isn't a niche system anymore. It's basically standard equipment. And yes, a small number of vehicles genuinely do use a lock-to-lock procedure, something like this one, but most modern cars need a scan tool, often on an alignment rack, zeroed to a precise value, not 5 guesses with the key on. Do the wrong sequence for your specific car, and here's the real consequence. You'll feel like you did something while your stability control is still reading your steering angle wrong. That's not a convenience feature having a bad day. That's the system meant to catch you in a skid, working off bad information. The fix is simple, if less exciting. After any alignment, or if a steering-related warning light comes on, get the sensor properly zeroed with the scan tool. Don't hand a system that argues with your tires mid-corner over to a hand gesture you saw online. But even that's not the part that actually gets under a mechanic's skin. That's still coming. Segment 5. The battery drain myths. 2 more claims, both about preventing battery drain. First, hold your key fob's lock button while pressing the ignition button for 10 seconds to sync your security system and stop parasitic drain. Second, remove your key, leave every door closed for 5 minutes to let your modules hibernate, then cycle the key on 3 times to sync everything. I could not find a single documented case of either one doing anything. Not from a manufacturer, not from a diagnostic technician, nowhere. Here's what real parasitic drain diagnosis actually looks like. A technician hooks a multimeter in line with the battery, waits for your car's modules to genuinely fall asleep, which depending on the vehicle can take anywhere from 15 minutes to nearly an hour, not 5, and then pulls fuses one at a time until the draw disappears. That's the whole trick. Time and a multimeter, not a secret button combo. If your battery keeps dying overnight, that patience and multimeter method is the only version of this that actually finds the problem. If you've caught yourself nodding along more than once already, you probably know someone who's about to try one of these. Send them this video before they do, and subscribe if you want the next viral car trend fact-checked before you lose a Saturday to it. Segment 6. The battery exercise myth, plus one that actually works. Last myth. Press the accelerator and brake together for 15 seconds with the engine off and you've exercised your electrical circuits enough to prevent battery sulfation. This one isn't even close. Sulfation happens when a battery sits without a full charge for too long. Short trips, heavy accessory use at idle, weeks parked in a driveway. Pressing two pedals with the engine off doesn't add a single amp of charge to that battery. It's chemistry, not exercise. The actual fix is almost boringly simple. Drive it far enough to fully recharge or hook up a battery maintainer if it's going to sit for a while. Since we're on the subject of things that actually save you money, here's one real tip to close out on. Underinflated tires are one of the most common, most ignored fuel economy killers out there, and your tire pressure warning light usually doesn't switch on until you're already 25 to 30% low. Keep your tires at the number on your door jamb, and you can realistically get a few real percentage points of fuel economy back. No ECU reset required. The real reason workshops roll their eyes. So here's the most valuable thing in this whole video. It's not a trick, it's a warning. If your check engine light is on and you're about to do any version of this reset before taking the car to a shop, stop. Every fault code carries something called freeze frame data, a snapshot of exactly what your engine was doing the instant something went wrong. Speed, temperature, load, fuel trim, all of it. A technician uses that snapshot to catch problems that refuse to act up on command while the car is sitting in a bay. Clear the code first, and you don't just lose the warning light, you wipe out the evidence. Now the mechanic is hunting for a problem with no starting point, which usually means more diagnostic time, which usually means a bigger bill for the exact same repair. That's the real reason this trend bothers people at the shop. Not because you found some secret they're hiding from you, because you accidentally erased their best clue before they even opened the hood. So if you genuinely need the reset, a rough idle, strange shifting, a battery that just got replaced, here's the real 2-minute trick done properly. Read and write down your codes first. Disconnect the negative terminal, give it the full hour if you possibly can, reconnect, expect a slightly rough drive cycle while everything relearns, and don't expect it to fix anything you didn't already know was wrong. Quick recap. The battery disconnect is real, just slower and less magical than the video made it sound. The throttle and key cycle tricks only work if you've got your exact manufacturer's actual procedure. Steering angle sensors need a scan tool, not a hand gesture. The fob and hibernation tricks appear to be invented out of thin air, and sulfation gets fixed with a charger, not a pedal. If you're going to try any of this, try the one real version, and read your codes before you ever touch that battery cable. It costs you nothing, it takes about as long as finding your radio code would anyway, and it's the difference between an informed 2-minute reset and an expensive guessing game for whoever works on your car next. Which one of these surprised you the most? Tell me in the comments. And if you want the next viral car trend put through the same test before you waste your Saturday on it, subscribe to Automastery. We'll see you in the next one.